Here we go. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Calgary Real Estate Wealth seminar. We've got a great seminar this week. It's a mid-year review and a goal-setting session. Before we get into that, we've got a number of things we're going to get to. We're going to do our tip of the week. We're going to have our market update, and Danielle DeMarco is going to do her mortgage market update. So we've got a ton of stuff to get through. We'll start off waiting for people to get in from the waiting room. There's new people that are still showing up. So we'll start with our real estate tip of the week.
Yeah, so this tip of the week is why inflation doesn't matter to investors. And we really wanted to stress this to everybody out there because owning real estate, having an investment on the side, or having a bunch of properties, yes, inflation's happening, interest rates are going up, but we don't even really care. And the reason why we don't care is because we have assets behind us. And what we've seen in this time right now with inflation going up, we actually see rents going up, Tim.
Yes.
And so even with inflation, interest rates, the rents in Calgary right now, and you'd have to work out wherever you're watching from, what's going on in your city, we have a rental shortage. And people are fighting over rental properties right now and paying a premium price. So it doesn't matter really where interest rates end up. And I'll let you speak to that quickly about interest rates and inflation.
We'll talk about inflation first. Of course, everybody's noticed inflation. You go to the grocery store, you go to the gas station, anything that you buy these days, you know that it's higher than it was 18 months ago, 2 years ago. But that also works for rent, like Azad said, and it works for property appreciation as well. So if you own real estate, it's gone up in the last 2 years. So you've made equity. If you own a rental property and you've turned over tenants or you've got new tenants, most likely your rent has gone up as well.
Yeah.
So you're benefiting on the equity side and you're benefiting on the cash flow side.
Yeah. For example, we've got a young gentleman on the call tonight, Connor, and we bought him a property last winter. It was last winter in Ogden, and that same property, Tim was just telling me he did a CMA on it. Rents have gone through the roof. He's cash flowing huge on this property. But better still, the property's gone up over $100,000 since he's bought the property. So do you think inflation or interest rates really is going to affect this young guy? And the other things we really want to talk about, other than property prices going up, rents going up, is if you do get stuck and you need to do a cash call, and Tim and I, this is why we teach people how to invest. There's a lot of gurus out there that will tell you how many properties they own, but they never tell you the hard times they went through. And during our hard times, and this was back in 2009, if you know our story, if you've been following us for a while, Tim and I went out there, bought over 25 houses here in Calgary. We got caught out when the market shifted back then. We grew too fast. We drank the Kool-Aid. And when you had some empty houses, we had no option but to sell real estate. And at the time, Tim, we talk about it in our book that we wrote, Fearless Real Estate. At the time, I thought it was the worst thing ever, Tim, that I had to sell one of my properties just to stay afloat. But now I look back at it, it was the best thing ever. And so that,
well, at least we had that real estate behind us to get us through those tough times. And anybody who went through that economy in 2007, 2008, 2009 will know that it was a worldwide financial crisis. And if you were hung out there with a lot of leverage, if you were highly leveraged, it hit you pretty hard.
Yeah. So going through and seeing what's happening with inflation, we really wanted to put it out there. If you have a plan B, if you have a backup and you have a number of properties and you can either refinance, so that's calling Danielle and saying, hey, I need to refinance some of the funds out of this property, like Connor could today, it's gone up $100,000. You could pull that tax-free money out and use that to support yourself. So that's why we can sit here and honestly tell you guys out there that real estate is the best thing that's happened in our lives. And it all comes down to buying the right property. And that's what we're here for, to teach you how to do that. So I hope you like, Tim, is there anything else you want to add to that tip there?
You mentioned the refinance part of it. And the worst scenario that can happen if you're worried about inflation is you can sell the property. So we don't recommend that these days. We want you to hold on to as many properties as you can. But if you have that asset behind you and you run into financial hard times because inflation is so high, you can sell the property and get yourself into, financially healthy again. So that's probably the last resort that we would suggest people do. But if you got to do it, you got to do it.
Yeah, I hope you like the investment tip of the week. We always do it at the beginning of our webinars. If you've missed the other tips, there's a whole YouTube channel on a whole bunch of tips. Feel free to subscribe. There's some really good information in our investment tips of the week, so you can make more money from your real estate.